If you're liking the content that we're putting out, and I assume because you're here that you do, could you please subscribe and become part of the Raging Moderates YouTube community? We're having a great time doing this, learning a lot, growing as people, all the things. Please subscribe. Welcome to Raging Moderates. I'm Jessica Tarlov, and today I'm joined by Congressman Pat Ryan. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on.
I'm raging today, so thanks for having me on.
This was a last-minute rage appointment. So I want to get right into it. Donald Trump and Secretary Hegseth addressed our military generals earlier today and left, I would say, them stunned into silence. Let's watch a clip, and then I want to get your take.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank, there goes your future.
I see your blood boiling as we go. Go for it.
I mean, the guy, you can tell he's so shaken, and Trump is afraid there because he knows he's surrounded by actual patriots. And he is a piece of, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse. But he is so...
I don't know for your career if you want to, but you can certainly curse on my podcast.
No, I mean, they're patriots. He's a piece of shit. I mean, that is the reality in that room. And I don't say that lightly about any human being. But to go in there, to even convene this is unprecedented. I actually think that's really, really important for us to say, to bring senior commanders with real world missions and adversaries from across the world in and of itself is... actually, I think makes the country less safe. But then in that moment to choose to, one, televise it, two, double down and triple down on this idea of we are going to deploy our American troops against American citizens in American cities. There's, of all the things that have been done and threatened, this to me is the most disturbing and un-American, just straight up. And I have a really hard time with anyone of any partisan affiliation claiming to love the country and the Constitution and be a patriot and yet tolerate that. I mean, like the language, we're going to make American cities training grounds for our troops. Do you think any young American man or woman signs up to be deployed against their own fellow Americans? Absolutely not. It's certainly not what I signed up for. So I could go on, but I think this is a really dangerous moment. And frankly, I was concerned what this whole thing was going to be when it was first reported last week. And I think this is unfortunately the worst case that I'd feared, beyond, an overt oath taking to him over the Constitution, which even I guess he knows he shouldn't do.
Oh, the night is young.
Yeah.
Right. And it's always just moving so fast. When I saw the headline come out last week, I was like, oh, this is a little mysterious and strange. But Pete Hegseth is mysterious and strange. So, we'll see how it goes. And then once it was announced that Trump was going to be speaking as well, and this was coinciding with the actions that he's taking in Oregon, for Portland, Chicago, I guess they're going to head to Memphis soon. And what's been going on in D.C., it all started to add up. And I catch some flack for being maybe too, out over my skis, but I'm genuinely concerned about a scenario in which the United States is under martial law and that they try to use that as an excuse to not have free and fair elections come the midterms and certainly 2028. Do you think that I'm crazy?
I wish I could say I did. I at the beginning of this administration, I wasn't certain. I feel like I have a lot of faith in the American people, and I still do. And so it's actually still really hard for me to even understand that even up to this point has been tolerated. But clearly they're continuing to push the politicization of the military, the firing and intimidation of any officer who might even ask a good faith question about strategy or disagreement. Of all the things, again, I think this is like the most foundational protection we have left. The Supreme Court has ceded to him. The Congress, under the control of Republicans, have acceded to him. And so maintaining the military as country over party constitution over individual fealty, it's kind of the last thing we have left, in addition, of course, to the people and us peacefully assembling and protesting, which I fear we're going to have to do even more of now. So this is, I think you are not wrong to worry about that scenario. And that in itself is a sad statement, but we got to live in the moment that we're in and not put our head in the sand.
What do you think effective pushback in this moment looks like?
I've really been thinking a lot about this. Again, a thing I never thought I'd have to, but you look at what the response was in the first deployment in LA, where unfortunately the iconic image of that was cars on fire and this sense, unfairly, but a sense of anarchy. You look at what's happened in DC, where, in my opinion, the mayor's frankly rolled over, when I disagree with that approach. Unclear what's going to happen in Chicago, although Trump clearly still has that on his mind based on his comments this morning. To me, the response needs to be, we the people decide. And we need to show that, meaning if, God forbid, troops are sent to New York, I think everybody should be out there wearing an I Heart New York shirt and an American flag, peacefully, strategically understanding that the imagery matters. And in moments of national importance like this, we actually have to think ahead of the right way to respond to that and remind people who's actually in charge here, which is us.
Yeah, I'm going to connect it as well to what seems like an impending government shutdown. First piece of the puzzle, do you think that the government shuts down? Second piece, Trump said earlier today, I can do a lot of things while the government's shut down. I can fire a lot of people. I can do stuff that they're not going to like. Could that possibly be part of this connective tissue, this conversation that we're having?
Well, I think the moment in time, we can talk about the process, but the way I think about this is actually, he's been doing that for 9 months. I mean, he's fired hundreds of thousands of people unlawfully, being challenged in court and otherwise. So unfortunately, I don't think that's going to change one way or the other. And the way that I think about this moment, and I believe that my constituents think about this moment, more importantly, is we are being harmed. Like, our healthcare system is getting devastated and costs are going up. We just gave $1 trillion in tax cuts to the 1% instead of the middle class. We're deploying, we want our communities to be safe, but we're sending ice and masks rather than sending funding to our local law enforcement. None of that is popular. And this is a moment and an opportunity to stop that and literally stop harm to the American people. To me, that is the moment we're at. Anytime we use that word or talk about the process rather than the substance, I think we kind of lose most people, because it just feels like typical political kind of stuff. Whereas this is not typical. We're going to have hospitals closed in my district if this doesn't get changed. There are 20,000 people in my district that already last week started getting letters that they're getting kicked off the essential plan, which in New York is sort of the Medicaid equivalent. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So that's why I think folks want us to push back. And I think we need to continue to hold the line on that.
All right. So you think the government shuts down?
Yes. I'm sorry. I think it's inevitable, unfortunately. But there's risk in that, but there's also if tremendous harm is being done in a situation, I think trying to stop that harm is sort of the first thing you have to do. And we don't have, unfortunately, a lot of other leverage points to do that.
No. Sucks to be in the minority. Hopefully, brighter days are coming.
And I do think it's important to say, it's slim. It's 2 seats. I mean, there is not some big mandate.
No.
Not in the House, barely in the Senate, certainly not among my constituents. I have a very swingy district, as you know. I've been talking to people, including right up to when I had to come back down to DC, and they are not happy with this overreach, and they're really not happy with the tariffs and the costs not only not going down, but going up.
Totally. Congressman Pat Ryan, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for fighting the good fight.
I mean, you more, but yeah.